The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison, and Jess Navarez.
Yo, good morning, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, right here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison, alongside Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, and Christy Scales. Ladies, how y'all feeling? Why you gotta sound
Fantastic.
like that?
No, I'm happy, man. Like, the draft is come and gone. We know who our nuggets now are, which is nice. And, yeah, we can really start, like, looking forward to next season and starting really, like, this is kind of to me where it starts, where it's like, okay, you got the nuggets. Now you see how things transpire. So, yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
I'm making sure the camera is facing this way because this is how I'm feeling.
Oh, here she
Are
goes.
you ready to eat? Okay.
I've been waiting for this.
Please.
I'll let Christy go, but just know.
Spin the block water.
I have been waiting for this day.
Oh.
Specifically this time. This podcast. Roll the tape. That's all I got to say.
So, but were you disappointed last week when the Cowboys, or surprised when they weren't able to land one of the running backs when that run of running backs took place?
No.
Why not, though? Why not?
I was not surprised at all. I just,
Because.
And
Yeah, but
And it wasn't.
Look,
See,
here's the
that's
thing.
why I had a tantrum, because it wasn't for sure yet.
Right.
And I don't say solidify nothing to pen to paper.
Yeah.
Go
for
ahead,
sure. Writing was on the wall for me. As soon as I heard
writing
the
was on the
reports-
wall, but not the paper.
It was on the wall, but as soon as I heard reports that they were meeting up before
Yeah, he
draft
was here.
time,
He was here
they were
draft
having
day.
meetings, I was like, oh, I just know how this story ends. I know what's about to happen. And regardless at that point, I was not going to be disappointed either way.
Yeah.
So it was not a horrible situation. Hey, we're either going to draft this rookie running back who is going to be great, a great asset, or you get Zeke back.
Yep.
I mean, really, I know there's pros and cons to both, but I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, Nicole, did you think it was going to be both, though? That Zeke would be kind of the complimentary, short distance guy, and they'd get more of a home run hitter in the draft?
I thought that I really didn't believe it was going to happen. I was kind of just shocked that they actually put the pen to paper and made it official. But no,
got to talk to him.
I got to talk to him.
Yes,
though.
she did a fantastic job.
she
buddy.
did.
Girl. Thanks, girl.
She did.
Appreciate it. Yeah, no, getting to talk to him first, you could just see, like, he's so excited to be home. And he even mentioned it before that he made it a priority to do whatever he needed to do to get back here to Dallas. And so I think it's going to be an exciting room. He thinks it's going to be an exciting room, and he's so excited to and looking forward to just mentoring those young guys as well. Before we get into what we heard from Zeke yesterday at the Home Run Derby, though, what does this do for this Cowboys running back room?
One thing that I think Zeke, and we've talked about this, but one thing that I think Zeke doesn't get enough credit for is his IQ when it comes to, he throughout his career, he's been one of the top running backs in pass pro. And you have to be able to read to do that. You have to be able to have a feel and be able to diagnose. But also, too, his vision is something that stood out, most of his career. And again, a lot of that takes processing and IQ. So I think he does bring an element to this game, to this room that's fairly young and less experienced, depending on who you're talking to, and less experienced to come in here and to, be that mentor. And because we talk about it even in the other rooms, like the linebacker room, like they need a mentor. So I think that is something that he brings as well. But also too, if you go look at some of his tape from last year, I think he displayed again that he can do some receiving things as well, more than what he was able to do in Dallas. And then also too, he still has legs. Like he can still cut the corners. He can still do some things and maneuver in the middle of the field. So I think that it's a good addition, and it definitely calmed my nerves because, Christy, baby, I was on the draft show hot.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what's going on
I know.
here?
I love it when Aisha gets
Hot.
passionate.
I was upset. I was I was confused, you know, because I'm looking at this running back room and I'm like, there's a lot of guys, but no one's proven. No one's proven yet, in a way. So I just was kind of worried about that. But he does have to come in and learn a new offense, though.
Yeah. I was going to ruffle some feathers real quick, though.
Go ahead.
You say the unproven part, and this is not my opinion, but a lot of fans are, you know, questioning whether or not Ezekiel Elliott is old Zeke, right? Do y'all feel like he still can tap into a whole new era of Zeke? I mean, what's y'all's thoughts on that?
Old Zeke. Do you mean the old, like the older part of his career where he wasn't like the home run threat getting to the second level, or do you mean original Zeke, like old Zeke when he's not original Zeke anymore?
Yeah.
And
that's the
he's
nature
9
of a
years
running
into
back
the
position.
league.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But all of the things that Aisha mentions, the football IQ, borrowing a Brian Broaddus term there and Bobby Belt term. I think it's very valuable. I think for me, I don't think he's the rookie and second and third year Zeke, right? But can he still, and I don't think he can be a bell cow anymore at the same kind of production level the first few years of his career. Yeah. But frankly, I was shocked by the contract. 1 year, $2 million. Yeah. Your entire running back room right now is $3 million less than what you paid Tony Pollard last year as a franchise player. So they are saving a lot of money in the running back room right now if they don't add another free agent. You know, they'll probably bring in a couple of, undrafted rookies. They'll bring in maybe a couple more people, but only the top 51 contracts count against the salary cap in the offseason. But here's the thing. It's a 1 year deal, $2 million, 1.625 guaranteed. It's less than 1% of cap space, okay? And according to Spotrac.com, he is the 39th highest paid running back in the league right now going into the season. And here's the really ironic part. So he's on your cap for $2 million this year, which is 1/3 the price of what he is on your dead contract.
Ooh. But doesn't he have a
So
lot of, he has
he's
a lot of incentives,
6.2
though.
million. It's the guaranteed. No, his it's 1.625 guaranteed and $375,000 signing bonus. So his base salary is 1.25, but again, with the signing bonus and the dead cap value, I mean, you're not going to cut him, but 1.625 million guaranteed.
Here's the thing. Look, I've been seeing all the discourse on social media. I get it. I understand when you have the option. Some people thought the better option was drafting running back.
Yeah.
I get that. And that's fair. That's valid. It's understandable, especially with the disappointing, I guess, lack of rushing attack that you had last season. The Cowboys last year were ranked 16th in the league of rushing touchdowns. I just want to point out Ezekiel Elliot, who everybody claims is not this rushing attack and whatever. Inside the 20, he had the second most rushing touchdowns last year with the Patriots. So again, it's not that he's going to come in and you can't expect this new Zeke era to be, what you once knew it as. You have to have an open vision, no pun intended, but you have to have an open vision yourself of how different this running back room is going to look in general. So just want to throw that out there. He can be very valuable inside the 20, inside that red zone. Let's go back to the beginning of last season. What was one of the biggest struggles?
Most of the season.
Red zone.
Yeah.
Red zone scoring. Specifically, rushing attack.
Yep.
You have your passing attack with CeeDee Lamb. You have a Jake Ferguson that came out and started really feeling himself in the red zone. But overall, you also need a full circle rushing attack in the end zone, and you need a guy like Zeke to be able to do that.
No, I think you make a really good point, and then also too, like sprinkling some draft talk, baby, your offensive line may or may not have gotten better. Like, granted, we got to see these young guys play, but Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton next to a Tyler Smith. Yep. some folks about to be getting moved out the way. You know, like there might be, I do think that this offensive line does have an opportunity to take a step forward. Because one thing that they really struggled with last year was getting to the second level, was getting pushed, like you were talking about, just in those condensed areas like the red zone and these short yardage situations. Not only do you have a back coming in that has a nose for, you know, those situations, but then also you have the possibility of this offensive line getting more penetration consistently this upcoming year. So that's another thing too. I do think that Royce my bad. Royce Freeman. I looked at a little bit of him as well, and I do think he does add a little bit of that. He does have some of that physical, I'm going to put my shoulder down stuff, but he shows bursts as well in certain areas as well. And then obviously Rico Dowdle has been here. He can do a little bit of everything. Right. We saw him in a screen game, passing game, see him in short yardage situations. It is a versatile room in a sense, and they are going to be able to maybe play the matchup game. Deuce Vaughn is there. Like, we'll see how everything pans out. It's gonna be actual competition in that running back room, which is something personally I don't know if we've seen in a minute. That it's been normally 1A and then 1B, but now we see the opportunity for these guys to really come in and show what they can do so they can put it on the field next season.
Training camp will be a lot of fun, but it would be a lot more fun if we got some calls. Go ahead and call us in at 1-888-855-2297. Our number is 1-888-855-2297. But before we get to taking any calls, we got to go ahead and hear from Zeke himself from the Home Run Derby yesterday.
Yeah, I'll be back home, with my people.
Do you take any, go to a batting cage or anything before you came in, kind of get yourself warmed up for some cuts?
No, I actually didn't take any swings, so I'm kind of surprised about my performance, but it's actually kind of tiring up there.
You talked about the decision to keep 15 instead of going back to 21, and kind of what was your rationale in that?
I just kind of look at it as a different era. I wore 15 last year. I wanted to go back. As soon as they made the rule that running backs could wear the single digits and the teens, I knew I wanted to switch, so it worked out.
What do you want to prove in this new era?
I'm just the guy unfinished business. Here to chase the ring.
Yeah, I love those two words, and I think that the unfinished business part of it. If you call in, we're going to ask a question of you. And that is, do you have a Zeke Elliott jersey already? And if so, are you going to keep wearing that 21, or are you going to go ahead and invest in a new number 15?
You're going to ruffle some feathers with that one. My dad was texting me already yesterday, like, dang it.
I think you should.
Here's the thing.
Get that 15.
I like this. I like it because if you see 21 Zeke, you automatically in your brain are going to attach him to what you think he should be now compared to what he was. And you're talking like rookie Zeke, leaping in the kettle Zeke. You're talking about full on leaping over men Zeke. Yeah. Like, let him live this new era. See what he has in it. He still has steam in the tank. It is not going to be a wash. And if I see anybody else say that on social media, I'm not going to be nice about it. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because it's been a little over 12 hours. I bet by the end of the day that at the Cowboys Pro Shop online that the 15 Zekes will be available because the Tyler Guytons are available. But I'll run upstairs and talk to Tim about that. But we'll make sure because right now it's showing the Zeke 21. But I bet some folks will be at training camp.
Yeah,
wearing the 15. Yeah,
for sure. Totally right. Ladies, you were kind of hinting where I wanted to go with this. When you talk about the what Zeke brings to this room, it'll be a lot more competition. When you talk about the guys like Deuce Vaughn, Hunter Lipke, but what does this do for Rico Dowdle, who's coming off of obviously his best season as a Cowboy, being a little bit more healthy? What does this do for him?
I mean, honestly, who's to say Rico's not the starter?
Right.
Yeah.
Who's to say he's not?
Exactly.
And I say that because he, again, and Dak mentioned it yesterday even, is that, expectations go up a little bit more for this offense specifically because they were in install last year.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I know some stuff went wrong and stuff, but we've seen teams implement some across the way that live in a place rhyme with illy. We've seen teams get new offensive coordinators and their offense not click and it not work. And so the Cowboys in this offense, the way that they were able to pick up, especially like mid-season and understand things, was unique to me. I was looking at the numbers when they was talking on the draft, like, number one in this, number one. I was like, dang it, I don't remember them being that good. But yeah. But yeah, so this offense is different for Zeke. And so he is going to have to come in and, have to learn the playbook.
Yeah.
It's different. And Rico has been here. Rico knows the pass protection calls.
Yep.
Tony's gone. So I do think that there is a possibility that Rico Dowdle could be the starter, or he might be even in a place of mentorship because he's bringing Zeke into this new offense. So that's just my thoughts on it.
They definitely have a great relationship.
Yes, they're close.
From the time, when Dowdle came in and Zeke was the guy. I'm glad you mentioned the protection calls because that is something that changed last year. But when you talk about the offense with McCarthy taking over last year, what were they talking about in the offseason and through camp in the beginning of the season? We were going to emphasize the run game. We're going to emphasize the run game. And it wasn't doing well, and Pollard was coming off of the injury. And when they started putting up the huge numbers, it's when in Dak in his, number one ranking and so many statistics throughout the year, they went more to the pass game.
Yeah, the aerial attack.
But the other thing, whether Rico or Zeke, I think Lipke's going to be used a lot more this year. But remember that 2 years ago, there were a lot of times where Pollard and Zeke were on the field together.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if you see that too. Now you're not going to see it in preseason. But we might see a little bit of it at camp, even though we can't talk about it if we do. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do quite a bit of that.
I think Rico said it the best on Twitter, me versus me, because he's not going in there. None of these guys are going in there saying, I'm going to take Zeke down. Zeke's number one enemy. Like, if you guys think that Zeke has a target on his back in this locker room, which I saw some discourse about online as well, that is just not how this works. Everybody is welcoming Zeke with open arms. And here's the thing. I told Aisha this off the show because I saw people questioning like what the locker room would look like with Zeke back in. Oh, is there going to be some resentment? Is this and that? It's going to feel the exact same. Yeah. Just better because Zeke is back in there. Because if you can compare being in the locker room with a Zeke locker room, it's very different than without. And all year last year, these guys would bring Zeke up, whether it was week 1 or you even go back to, gosh, I want to say it was like, it was later in the season. I did find it on YouTube, though. They were still talking about Zeke and the impact Zeke had. And, Zeke taught me this. This is a guy that is a very loved and respected guy in the locker room. Him coming back doesn't shake anything up. It doesn't do anything negative for the morale in the locker room. It boosts your guys up. And, yeah, you know what? He becomes a student of the game again, having to relearn McCarthy's offense, playbook, and style.
You might like that.
Ooh.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
We
I
have
like?
a caller?
We got a caller,
Oh, I
y'all.
like that.
We like callers. Jimmy J's here from the Star We Are. How you doing? What you got for us?
Hey.
I'm doing okay. Back on the show, and it's a gym for us, so we're loving it. I'm thrilled about the Zeke signing as well. I was saying on a show the other day, I think he's going to give us 10,000% of everything he has in his tank. Do got a quick question for you, ladies. With Zeke taking 15, so this is why I called in. I know y'all got the ears to the ground.
I know where this is
there
going.
Any hopes of Gilmore coming back to 21? Has anybody heard anything on that? I would love it.
Yeah, it's interesting how little is being said about Gilmore. But with Zeke taking 15, by the way, Trey Lance is going to be number 19 now because Lance wore 15 last year. And shout out to my Cowboys radio colleague and former Cowboys quarterback, Babe Laufenberg, who, I'm sorry, Zeke, but Babe will always be my favorite number 15 for the Dallas Cowboys. So we just got to make sure that, Babe wants to make sure that Zeke carries on the legacy of 15 for the Cowboys. But yeah, I think that the selection in Kalen, the cornerback in the 5th round.
Our show is about to talk about him.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear more about that. And do you think that selection, the thing though, can't he be more of a slot guy, and it doesn't necessarily dismiss Gilmore, who plays outside?
I mean, yeah, there's that there as well. But then this team traded up, I think, last year to get Eric Scott as well.
Yeah,
Scott's coming back.
So you got, he's coming back, and I do think that those two things may have something to do with it. However, I will say, new coaching staff. Besides Al Harris, like Al, if Al's back there, but I'm just saying, like, Joe Witt Jr. and those guys are not here.
Yeah.
And that stuff matters.
Yeah.
And so I think, those two young guys being in this room might make a difference in whether they decide to bring Stephon Gilmore in, that's a good point that Kalen Carson does do some things, do a lot of things in the slot.
I will say one thing about Mike Zimmer, though, who, of course, is back in Dallas as the defensive coordinator. I won't say soft spot and maybe loyalty, but you guys remember when Terrence Newman was our first overall draft pick in 2003, played here many years. He played a lot more years in the NFL with Mike Zimmer, with the Vikings. So Zimmer, if there's a reliable veteran, Zimmer's going to have he had a place for Terrence Newman. So that makes me feel better that maybe, he might be on board with Gilmore. But honestly, I think it's still going to be, I think, unfortunately, more of a bottom line financial decision.
That's what I was about to say.
I think when you look at the finances, re-signing Jordan Lewis, you kind of have your writing on the wall. Yeah. And here's the thing. I know everyone was excited, including myself, to be like, 21's open. 21's open. Look, we want to grasp onto things to grasp onto. And I think just because Zeke switched his number, conveniently left 21 open, that wasn't necessarily an indicator for really any movement there. I'm not going to be surprised if we don't see Gilly in a Cowboys uniform this season. That's all I'm saying. Financially, we can hope
he comes back
look,
too. Yeah,
it would add a little razzle dazzle, nonetheless. It really would.
Yeah.
Well, give me reliability. Keep your razzle-dazzle. Give me reliability.
It is reliable.
Yeah.
But again, can you afford him?
Yeah.
And guess where that comes from? Dak's contract. Let's go back to that, because you can't do anything until that gets resolved. So we're still stagnant with that. Until that gets resolved, I think you kind of have your answer.
Yeah.
Trayvon? Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to say you get Trayvon Diggs back.
You get Trayvon Diggs
Which
back.
anything but Bland.
Deron Bland's going to be the other boundary
about.
corner.
Yep.
You have Jordan Lewis in the nickel.
You have Kalen Carson, who can play inside and out.
Yep.
Okay. I mean,
Eric Scott.
I think you're
and
right.
then Eric Scott as well. That can. I mean, I don't.
Nashawn Wright.
Nashawn Wright. But again,
That's right.
This is. It's put up or shut up for some of these gentlemen as well.
Listen, you can never have enough good cornerbacks in this league.
Exactly.
I agree. If you can keep them, especially if you can keep them, and then I'm assuming too. Like, I don't know how the return rules are going to change anything too, but some of those guys play special teams too.
Oh yeah, Carson's going to be a
special teams.
Is he going to be one of our aces?
He's probably going to have to be he a little crazy.
Yeah.
He a little fiery. He's very competitive. But
you know what I'm excited to see from him too is I want to see how Al Harris takes this diamond in the rough from 29 pass breakups and only 3 picks to being a ball hawk, kind of Deron Bland-esque. That's what I'm excited for with this break.
Which round was Deron Bland selected in?
5th.
Anything but Bland, 5th round.
Oh my gosh! And when was Carson taken?
5th round.
Whoa! Wow! Isn't that?
Don't worry, I'll
Carson,
come up with some puns for him.
cornerback out of Wake Forest.
Hello.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much, Jimmy J's hair from the star we are. We got to take our first break, though. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Kenny Chesney is bringing his Sun Goes Down 2024 tour with the Zac Brown Band and special guest Megan Morning and Uncle Cracker to AT&T Stadium on May 11th. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium. Guys,
you read that real fast. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I did, but I was really excited because I just wanted to say I can finally say out loud we have tickets for this because it was my dad's birthday. I couldn't say anything, and my mom and I were going to surprise him.
Aww.
Now his birthday's passed. We can officially say.
Oh,
Terrence
Jesus.
and I and Matt are going to go see Kenny Chesney. So.
Oh, what a great present.
So excited.
That is
I had to bite my tongue.
Honestly, it's the biggest party at AT&T Stadium.
So
He's played so
fun.
many times
The
there.
last time I did
It
this
is a
read, I couldn't
party.
say it out loud. I was like, oh, I have to pretend I'm not going to that. Like, my dad will catch on so quick because he was kind of hinting about it. So, Dad, thank you.
So did he act surprised, or did he kind of?
I think
he kind of felt like maybe it was coming.
See, I wasn't back home when it was his birthday, but according to my mom, he's just very excited. So excited for him, and happy belated birthday again.
That's awesome. And did you guys hear about the country? They announced the lineup for the ACMs.
I
It's
did.
going to be here in 2 weeks, May 16th.
Trust
so
me,
we
I
know
did.
we
It's
were
all
talking
over that.
last
You're
week about
fakies.
Reba McEntire's
Yeah.
hosting,
Yeah.
right?
Reba.
And just in case, because this was released earlier in the week, but performing, let's see, they got Jason Aldean, Kane Brown, Jelly Roll. So I know Britt Brown, our director of Cowboys Rehab, is like a huge fan of Jelly Roll. So I know where Britt is going to be
I'm
on May
laughing.
16th.
I didn't know that.
Miranda Lambert, of course,
Yeah.
from Lindale, Texas, hometown of Kelly Finglass, director of the cheerleaders. So who's the most famous person from Lindale, Kelly or Miranda?
I'm
Kind
gonna
of a
go- I'm gonna go
toss-up there.
Kelly. Yeah.
Thomas Rhett, Chris Stapleton,
Thomas Rhett.
Lainey Wilson, who was here
Yeah.
last year as well. So it's pretty awesome lineup there.
Yeehaw.
You know what?
Y'all speaking Spanish
Thursday. Right?
to me right now.
It's okay. We're on
I'm
the
sorry, that
same
was really
page.
funny.
Let me translate that into Spanish. Yeehaw.
Oh my goodness. You know what, Jess? You were talking about like birthday gifts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Cowboys got a few gifts in the draft.
How did you?
Well done.
It's
don't
only
know.
been like
Let's talk
you know
about
what?
6 months. How did you rub off this bag?
You know, I have that effect. I have that.
I mean, I'm just
sorry, not sorry.
like y'all.
I'm proud of you for
It's
that.
It's taking
Just
over y'all's
know,
bodies.
I'm so proud of you for this.
Thank you. It's gross.
pun disease.
Well, that's one of us.
But no, the Cowboys have gotten a few gifts. We talk about offensive line, them addressing that need. First round, there were 8 guys drafted in the first round that were offensive linemen. That's the tie for the most ever in NFL history. One of those being Tyler Guyton, our very own.
Yep.
Offensive lineman out of OU. Transfer from TCU. We also got Cooper Beebe, the center, I know out of Kansas State. So it'll be interesting to see him and Deuce Vaughn reunited together. But what's y'all's thoughts on those guys? And do y'all think they can come in and make an immediate impact on that offensive line?
Yeah.
They have to.
That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking when it all happened. No, I mean, listening to a few of Will McClay's post-draft interviews, it sounds like they obviously do view Cooper Beebe as a guard and a center. We talk about competition. Listen, it's going to be some wrestling going on during training camp. Because Brock Hoffman is still going to... He ain't no rook, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he's still going to, that competition is still going to be interesting. But I do think that Cooper Beebe brings a temperament to really set the foundation of what the interior of your offensive line like, and it spreads out, starts here, spreads out. I think it can come in and make a difference right away. He's very smart. He reads very well, diagnoses very well. He's a very vocal leader as well. And Tyler Guyton, it's so funny because like he's this mammoth of a human, just huge, and he just seems so. I mean, Nicole, you had a fantastic time with him. It looked like looking at your interviews and stuff. But I think he's gonna have to come in too and make a difference immediately, because who is the left tackle in y'all's minds? Who?
Well,
it's
gotta be him. Don't be surprised if Guyton. They don't automatically set him out there with the first team on the first day of minicamp, because sometimes they don't take they'll let the veterans, if it's like a Willetsko or somebody like that, and make Guyton earn the time. Now, I don't know. That's maybe a little more old school. McCarthy isn't quite that way, but I can tell you with previous regimes, they wouldn't automatically set him out there with the first team at the beginning of camp.
Man, I'm so glad our job is to sit right here and not go against that offensive line. I will say that much. The thing about, I want to go back to Cooper Beebe real quick, because when I was looking at him, it's so interesting. The guy doesn't actually have any live game reps at center.
Right.
So I think, yes, he can steamroll you, but that's also something to keep in mind, especially when you're talking about the competition with Brock Hoffman. Brock does have that, and Brock does have that experience we were just talking about earlier with the running backs, with knowing the playbook and the McCarthy style playbook. Brock has that. He has that upper hand. So I think Cooper Beebe can come in here and he's a coachable guy. And I think with that, he can come in and make an impact. I just don't know. I just don't know if that'll be immediately at center. I think Brock Hoffman, you shouldn't count him out because of everything he's done. I thought it was interesting. KT Levston with the Rams, am I saying that last name right? Did an interview about Cooper Beebe because they were former teammates. And here's what I found interesting about this. He said that last year when they played together, at K-State, that he talked about how Cooper kind of knew at this point that he would likely get drafted as a center. So although he didn't get the live game reps, he would take the initiative to tell all the guys on the offensive line at K-State, hey, let's kind of move around, let's shift around, let's play different positions. I'll play center, let's do this, let's do that. So he took initiative to start taking those reps already, knowing kind of what his fate would be, looking ahead in the crystal ball. So I'm not going to count him out, but I'm also just saying Brock Hoffman is going to put up a fight, because that guy's also a dog. I don't know if y'all have seen Brock Hoffman at practice.
Yeah, he's the fiery one.
He is.
Yeah, I think the best thing for Beebe is that, new position game-wise, but he's between Zach Martin and Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
So by osmosis,
crazy.
I mean, what a golden situation for him to come into, to be between two Pro Bowl guys, two smart guys, two guys that embrace a leadership. I know that Tyler's a young guy and it'll just be his third year, but very mature young man, so well spoken, well educated. He's very studious. He's one of the most studious players in there, and so he'll be able to share that knowledge.
I was gonna ask you guys. Obviously, Tyler Biotish and what he left here, huge mark, huge hole to fill. But when you talk about kind of the comparisons from when Tyler Biotish came in and Cooper Beebe now, do you feel that Cooper's a little bit more developed than Tyler Biotish was when he came in and he was drafted?
So I think that with Tyler Biotish, like, he coming from a center coming from Wisconsin makes people's ears light up, and I think it did put a lot of pressure on him to be this perfect player and not be considerate of his development at the position. And because I do think he did hit his stride in his third year, if I'm not mistaken. But on the flip side of things, y'all, Cooper Beebe is league ready. Like, he's so developed, obviously from a physical standpoint, which is half the battle a lot of the time with these offensive linemen. But I think he's 100% ready to go. And you brought up the competition with Hoffman. Just whoever is starting, gonna earn that thing. You understand?
Yep.
And that's what I want at the center position. What I think, Christy, to your point, I think they are gonna let him compete at center, and if he gets the spot, then he maybe later down the line, listen, I ain't gonna wish that evil on us, Ricky Bobby, will be Zach Martin's guy.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, too, when Biotish came in as center, it was to fill in the hole of Travis Frederick,
yeah.
which was
that's exactly
huge.
Yeah, but he wasn't
itself.
wasn't the starter.
Right.
No, he
that year.
wasn't. Who
It
was
was
it?
Joe Looney.
Right.
And
Who got busy, too.
Jumbo Joe. By the way, I'm going to see
Such a locker room
Joe
guy.
on Saturday for
Busy.
an event that we're doing with Legends Hospitality and Dairy Max, and it's this culinary challenge. And Joe is going to be one of the judges for this food competition where we have the high schoolers from the culinary classes coming in, and so I'll talk to Joe about that and see if he has any thoughts on BB.
I'd be interested to hear what he says.
What he says about Hoffman, and I'll report back next week.
I just think the circumstances are so different from when the two came in, and so to your point, Aisha, time to work. Yeah. Time to work. Time to prove why you're the guy.
Wrestling. They're going to be wrestling. I can't wait to turn the cat. Ooh.
No, something that Jess, you mentioned how Cooper kind of lacks that starting experience, and so does Tyler. Only 14 starts at right tackle, 1 start at left tackle, but he is very confident in the switch. And he said that he plays more comfortable at left tackle. Do y'all have that confidence in him that he can kind of make that switch so easily?
We're going to go through some growing pains with him. I think athletically, he can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gifted.
Yeah. His mobility is
gifted
is crazy
in that regard. I think athletically he can do it. Again, it's just he's going to have to learn. He's going to have to learn different things within this offense, especially be on the left side. Now, granted, he has covered someone's blind side. It does help that his quarterback was left-handed, so he understands, because that's another part of it. Like, your vision is huge in being an offensive lineman as well. So I think he's going to do it, but I think similarly to Tyler Smith, the first year, because there's some rawness to his game. To your point, he's still learning his hand placement, consistent hand placement, striking, things like that. So I do think that it is it's gonna be sometimes where you're just like, dang it, Rook, but then he's gonna shut somebody down the whole rest of the game.
Yeah.
If it takes 1 year to say, dang it, Rook, and then the rest of his career, you're like, not saying anything, I'll take it.
Well, the thing I'm looking most forward to in training camp is when we finally get to the pass rushing drills. And it's going to be, dang it, Rook, when he's going against Micah Parsons.
Ooh.
But that is a baptism by fire, but he will benefit from that.
I think that's why Micah
said that.
Iron
I literally
sharpens
thought
iron,
that was
right?
like, I don't know if y'all saw that clip of Micah during the drafting or whatever, and everybody was making fun of his reaction. I immediately thought about what you just said. Micah's processing the fact that Tyron is gone, and then you bring another dude built like Tyron in here again. He was like, bro, I was just getting a break. Now he likes the competition, I'm sure. But
what I really like about him switching sides here is OU's offensive line coach is really good with instilling fundamentals. So he has a solid, it looks like, baseline of his fundamentals. Now it's just kind of switching the muscle memory, switching kind of what he already knows, but opposite. And we've talked about the versatility on the O-line here before, which these guys do all the time. So it's going to make him a better player to do it. And then once you have your side on the line, you're there. You don't have to do it again. You're going to stay there. You found your home. So I'm excited to see what he does. I also think getting some work in the weight room will do him a lot of work and justice. So I think those off-season workouts going to do a lot of good for him in terms of really getting that strength and becoming an NFL starting body at tackle.
That's what he's. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mike.
Go ahead, girl. No, I don't have anything to say about that. I didn't want to forget about Nathan Thomas.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, the tackle. The Cowboys did add to the offensive line even later in the draft with Nathan Thomas, tackle out of Louisiana. He was a 7th round pick, and honestly, dude, like once I started doing some research on the kid, like this is someone that people thought could go in the 5th round. This is someone that some people thought could go in the like late 4th round.
Why did he drop?
I think there's some health stuff there.
Yeah, he's just coming off of a knee injury, a knee surgery actually from 2023.
Yeah, I think there's some health stuff there, but super high upside. Again, fits the temperament that I think that they are looking for in the run game. They addressed the trenches this draft, but if you look at every one of their offensive linemen, these are guys that are maulers. These are guys that fire off the ball. These are guys that play with a really like take it to you temperament. And so, I just wanted to bring him up a little bit. There, when he was at Louisiana, their run game took a huge uptick his last year. He was a all Sun Belt honorary, 6'4", 335 pounds. He had very limited penalties at offensive tackle, which is important because that lets you know that the hands are good. He diagnoses, he reads well, he's fantastic at lead blocking, he's good in space, and when he has to pick up blitzes, he can see them. He directs traffic as well, he's gonna hit you in the mouth every time. He's very athletic, and he's he thrives in inside outside blocking. He still has to work on his pad level, flexibility, those things, but there's a lot of good traits there that I do think is going to come in handy later. Also over about 1,800 snaps through his career in college, so a lot of experience as well. So Nathan Thomas out of Louisiana was a 7th round pick that I think may come in handy when you need him later in the season and stuff like that. So,
come on, draft show analyst.
Well done.
I know. I mean,
thank you. All right, y'all. We gotta take our second break. You're watching Girls Talk Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The 2024 PBR World Finals are taking over AT&T Stadium. It all starts on May 17th with Kid Rock's Rockin' Rodeo. It's a great name. Then on May 18th and 19th, the finalists compete in the 2024 PBR Championship. Let's rock and ride. 3-day tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium. Yee-haw.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Oh my gosh.
What does that translate to in Spanish, Chris?
I think it was.
Leave me alone.
I think it was yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
There we go.
Oh,
There's
my.
the translation.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Dang. All right, ladies. Real fast. That kind of scared me a little bit. Favorite undrafted free agent.
Our pet cats.
And how important, our pet cats.
I
And
love this time of
how
year.
important are these undrafted free agents when you talk about the Cowboys' history of the free agency?
Let's see. Tony Romo, Everson Walls, Cliff Harris, Miles Austin. Oh my God, Drew Pearson.
This goes on and on.
Yeah, kind of important.
A little bit, you know.
Juanyeh
Brandon Aubrey.
Cavante Turpin.
Talk about it.
It just keeps going on.
And on.
Like my favorite my favorite watch is Corey Crooms Jr. out of Minnesota is someone that I really like. But watching Julius Ward's safety out of East Carolina, I was ready to run through a wall last night. So he can do some free safety things, but I really think he's gonna make his bread and butter at strong safety. And y'all, this is he got a lot of fire in his game. You can see he went to You can just see, like, a lot of the time with these kids that come from smaller schools, they have a hunger to them that can't be, like, quantified. It's hard to put into words, but you just see it in how they play. And he's known for his leadership. He'll make plays on the ball. This is a ball hawk at safety. I mean, he just really has a nose for the ball, but he's an enforceful tackler in the run game. Like, he feels like a linebacker, like and it's certain, and he's trying to let you know, as a blitzer, he's hard to deal with because his pursuit is so vicious. Again, like, you just see that hunger from him. He shows range, and he also has some range in zone, but his IQ is high, so that's why he's able to get turnovers. He can improve in mirroring and, like, man coverage, but y'all, like, this is a guy I think can make the squad because we've talked about safety. You didn't re-sign J-Ron Kearse. Yeah. Malik Hooker I think he maybe has another year or two. I'm not sure.
So. Yeah.
These guys still are, not getting older, but this is someone that can come in and play some serious rotational snaps for you, I believe, and help you out on special teams, Christy. So, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, he's one of my favorites. Yeah. I'm very excited about him. Go ahead, girl.
You already know which position I'm going with this.
Tight end.
I already know.
Oh, yeah,
Brevin from Minnesota.
Brevin Spanford from Minnesota. Holy smokes.
Dang it.
Talk about a big body tight end. Yeah. Like, this guy is huge. And the run blocking aspect of his game, I think, makes him stand out so much. But given he's going into a bit of a tough room as far as competition. Obviously, you have Jake Ferguson as your tight end 1. But what's going to be interesting is that tight end 2, tight end 3 competition. Because if John Stevens Jr. coming back from his injury, he was having a fantastic training camp, fantastic preseason. And then obviously season-ending ACL injury came in. He's coming back with fire, wanting to come in and earn the spot that I fully believe he would have earned had it not been for that injury last year. You have a Peyton Hendershot who kind of fell short to expectations last season, and he has to prove himself because, look, when you have a guy coming in like this, it will put you on notice quickly. And I think Peyton needs to kind of have a more impressive camp than he did last year. I think he needs to come in and he needs to make sure that he gets that in lock. So I'm excited. I'm excited for a big body tight end. You need that. You want to work on the run? Get your tight ends involved. We know Mike McCarthy loves to get his tight ends involved in the run game. So to me, this is a Mike McCarthy offense kind of guy, and I think he would fit right in.
Loved his tape.
Just stole mine.
I'm sorry,
just stole mine, so it's up to you.
You can't be surprised that I picked a tight end. You can't.
I knew you were going tight end. I'm going linebacker, and I'm only saying that because, one, you have Demo back. I'm so excited to see what he brings to that room.
Yes.
Eric Kendricks, a new addition, right? But then you add maybe like a Jason Johnson in the mix. Top linebackers in free agent, undrafted free agency. Just what he did at Eastern Illinois, 100 tackles, and then he transferred to UCF, 240 tackles. He's a really downhill player. Yeah, very active downhill player. I think second all Big 12 selection as well. I think that he'll be a great maybe potential. Let me not go starter. Sorry, like really good depth piece for that room. So yeah, I think that's going to be a great.
Yeah, his size, that linebacker with the changes in rules for kickoff coverage, that's going to be that's going to be key. You're going to be a little bit. You can go a little bit bigger on kickoff coverage now because they're not having to run as far, and so you can kind of go a little bit bigger body. So I'll be interested to.
See who
to talk to Bones Fossil about that and see if it's going to maybe change composition of the bottom of the roster.
That's a great point.
Wow. Draft grades from all of y'all. Go. I know y'all hate this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't give an A or even a B plus just because I know a lot of fans are excited. We're excited about Zeke coming back, but I'm sorry, that was a big need, and it wasn't addressed. So among your 8 picks.
So what's your grade?
B or B minus.
Okay, that's fair. I thought you were gonna give him a C, actually.
Well. I'm more B minus C, but I mean, I like who they got, and I think trading down the fact that you could still get Guyton at 29, I was surprised. I was surprised. So that was great. Yeah. That's why I'm kind of hedging towards B.
Okay. I don't know if it could have. I don't know if it could have went any better. I know, like you mentioned, the run on running backs was a big deal, and that kind of sucked. But
at least they didn't jump in. You know, they stuck to what they were going to do. Yeah.
I'm just gonna give it a B. I almost want to give it a B plus because man, the value that you got is just insane. So maybe I'll stick at B plus because I've conceded to the not drafting a running back thing. It's weird, but I conceded that it's just not what they need to do this year. They don't have the funds.
I'm going to say B because you addressed every position that you had a need for minus running back. And that's one out of a lot of holes that you had. Tackle, defensive end, you needed more of that. DT, nose tackles, cornerbacks, even just adding extra guys like the wide receiver room growing a little bit more as well. So you added needs before wants. And yes, you went best player available with Tyler Guyton. Thank God. Trading back to be able to get you another pick. Like, incredible. Incredibly done and smart. And I'm giving it a B because you addressed everything except running back in the draft. But then you ended up addressing running back, maybe not in the shiny, flashy new way. But we won't actually know what that looks like here anytime soon.
What's yours?
So.
Mine, I'm going off of Jess, B. But I'm also going to add that they got bigger.
Ooh.
We added some physicality and size, I think that's something that they really struggled with last year. So,
yes,
come on,
love it.
Y'all ladies is talking ball today.
Talk about it. But on that note,
we got to go.
We do.
That is a wrap for today's episode of Girls Talk Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see y'all next Thursday. Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!